6.8 last time. It wasn't filed in a timely manner. Am I wrong?
You're right.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. If I was sitting in your seat, I know Glenville's millage rate is 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that the cost of things have probably gone up. So I could work with anything between 7.5 and 8.
Why 7.5? Just curious.
Well,
I mean, that number specifically.
well, because I thought that the city of Reidsville ought to generate the same amount of millage rate and receive property tax the same as Glenville does. Do you realize that sewer lift station out there is still running with that same old pump, same old thing? And whenever you work as hard as we did to get that USDA loan the first time, and we didn't sign off on it, I mean, I left. But it was also, with that $3.625 million, was a 45% grant, which the city would only have to pay $1.6 something million.
Well, here's my thing. Okay, for instance, what's that project that we bid or they bid on?
That's the same project.
Right.
Back in 8.1 billion.
Right. When we first got it was 3 point something million. Now it's come back at 8.
It was
So in excess of
$3.625.
$5 million. The same. We're not adding anything. The same project that bid at 3 came up at 8, and so that $5 million difference is the inflation. And here's the thing: we're gonna have to borrow $8 million, and we're not gonna have the money to pay that back. Like, we're not gonna have the financing to do that. I don't believe. Like, they're looking at our numbers.
That's what I'm saying.
Even a little bit, like, even because Mr. Bill talked to me about the plan that y'all put, the 1% raise every year.
Yeah.
He was telling me, and I'm telling you, I even have it planned for Mr. Bill to come in and speak with the council. So it's not thus says Nivea. Let somebody else say it, because I'm tired of saying this. Like, I have brought experts in to talk to everybody all year, but Mr. Bill said that plan that y'all did worked great. It was a great idea before 2020 hit and COVID hit. It would have worked. That 1% that y'all put in to raise the water bill.
I mean, actually the council voted that and approved that each year, water and sewer would go
Goes up
1%. Because that way you don't have to come back.
True, but that was before, y'all did that before 2020 hit. And so when 2020 hit, it just wasn't enough to hold. So I'm not sure if your USDA loan is gonna go through, because you know what they're asking me for now? Show me how you're gonna be able to financially pay this money back, because now you don't need $3 million, you need $8 million. You're gonna borrow $8 million.
Well,
and that's gonna put everybody that's gonna be sitting on this bench 2 generations behind them. So I'm thinking about that. Like, if we don't increase the revenue somewhere, like 6.86 is going back a little bit. Like, we're not gonna be able to suffice that loan. And water sewer, we need new water meters. Those water meters in the ground are 15 years old. We need whole new water infrastructure everywhere. And water and sewer department is not gonna be able to hold up to that.
You're saying to the choir. That's why I said I could live with 7.5 or 8 meals, because you're gonna need the additional revenue to even do one project.
But nobody seems to want it.
When I said 6.86 last year,
everybody don't understand.
That's true. You are exactly right.
Mr. Curtis, everybody don't understand. There's a lady in here that was raising Santa last night.
Well,
But she didn't know what she was really raising Santa about.
Yeah, I know.
So if I can talk. You know, what Sydney's saying, you know, I agree with in principle, right? If you guys had come to us and said we need to do a millage rate, at the start, we need to do a millage rate of 8.00 mils, right? Which is a moderate increase, which is probably gonna be somewhere around 30% or something like that in the actual numbers. You would have people come here you would have people asking some of the same questions. Well, what do you need it for? What are you studying on, right? And if you bring that through to the public, you're going to get some kind of consensus if it's a moderate increase. Okay, you came to us first with a 12.9.
8, 9.
Yeah, so a 12.89 increase, which when it came out in the paper, first thing everyone saw was 94% tax increase. That's a huge increase. That is why you got a lot of people with their angst up, came in here, well, I'm having trouble paying my bills right now, how am I gonna pay double, okay? That's why you had a lot of citizens here. I think you saw the kind of reaction, you didn't, like today we've got a small group here, okay? But you had this room overfilled with people, okay? And then you said, okay, well, we'll back it down a little bit, but when you back it down, you still back it down to a point where it was 50-something% difference. So, it was still a large number. So don't think that, we don't want to give you the money, right? We want to give you the money to do what needs to be done for the city, but it's got to be done at a moderate, pace. So if you raised it if you come to us this year and tried to raise it, like I said, to like maybe 7.5 or 8 mils, and then next year came back to us and said, well, now we need 8.2. You do the moderate increases, you're gonna get to the point where you can get that money that you're trying to get, okay? You try to do it all at once, you're gonna have everybody in the city in this room again complaining about it, okay? And that's when they're gonna come after you and say, well, why did you, pay all this money for that building over there? Why haven't, and these are the things that I've heard every day that I've been in here, right? I haven't said anything about the building, I haven't said anything about people not paying their taxes or water bills, but that's what you're hearing from people here, okay? And it's because you tried to go big chunk at one time. And that's why people said, well, why are you doing that to me when there's all this outstanding money out there that you haven't collected? And there's this building that you just bought over here for, all this money and this high interest rate and all this. That's what you're gonna get from people here if you try to do it too much at one time.
I understand that. And my argument is the same thing. When we look, that's why I printed 6 years of the history, because I wanted people to see that we didn't increase nothing against you at all. I just wanted people to see that there wasn't an increase. It wasn't significant enough to make a difference with growth. Like, we're asking for big because all of the years that we didn't increase, now all this growth is hitting the area, and we're not gonna be prepared for the growth.
But that's why I'm
and how
saying
can
you had to go smaller.
And here's the other thing, I can't see, like, for them to wanna build new houses everywhere, we hear that they wanna build houses, okay? Why would we run them brand new good plumbing, and then the people in the areas that's been here don't have good?
You mean like me? I
Yeah.
don't
You
have
get what
water
I'm
sewer
saying?
either, so.
You get what I'm saying? So I just feel like we can't fix everything overnight, but we got to start where we are, okay? We got to start where we are. Just new software. Our software will not be able to be upgraded. Even with office help, even with, all the stuff that we do, we need things and we're not going to do it. We're not competitive with salaries anywhere, and it's hard to maintain help. Like, even with grass cutters, we've heard the complaints about the grass being cut at the cemetery. If we were to contract that out to somebody, we're not gonna pay nobody $9 an hour to go cut the grass over there. We're not. And then we have help from the girls from the detention center, but they stay so COVID ridden.
Yeah, they
They don't
But I'm gonna say something, why you brought that up. I seen them for the first time going in at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Most of the damn time they're on the road, going home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But
They're required to be in the center by 4.
they should be here ready to go to work at 7:30.
They are.
7:30. And then, now they spend a lot of time, and I realize they're girls, they go use the restroom at the recreation park. And they entitled to eat lunch just like me and you are. But when you see them leaving at 2:30 in the afternoon, we can drive 15 miles to the detention, there's something wrong there. But I have, like I say, yesterday, I seen them, I knew it was that Reidsville van because that's another thing we had to buy. We had to get a van, the van we had was wore slap out. And we looked at several vans, we looked at, they brought one from, Lane,
Go ahead down
Classic. Brought it over here, had 62,000 miles on it. Cranked it up, and the air conditioner tore up before we drove it out the parking lot. So, then we went, what was the Ford place there, Classic? I mean, Glenville. Brent Walker.
Yeah.
Brent Walker was working with O.C. Welch, and we was able to purchase that truck, that van, brand new, for $32,000.
Oh.
That's and I told the girls, told the guards when we bought it, I said, I don't want to hear those things like what they do down in Glenville about stuff these air conditioner vents with paper towels. You know, and I said, this is y'all's van, you need to take care of it. And pretty well, the van has been taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you. This being my fourth meeting now,
Yeah.
fifth that I've been here the last couple of weeks and all, and it finally just hit me that we're fortunate as citizens to not have had the increases over the past 3 years, 5 years.
No, it's been like,
10 years.
it was back,
Whatever.
there were 7 meals when, Jackie Tran was mayor.
And to realize that, and yes, our property values have gone up a little bit, you know.
A little bit in the last.
Well, yeah, I pulled out the last 3 years, my tax bills and stuff a couple of weeks ago when it started. You know, and obviously the 94% and 12%, you know, or 12 mil and all that. Wait a minute. And then I went, how much is this gonna cost me? It wasn't hard to do the math. I can add, subtract, multiply, divide. And I'm like, well, but, and this morning it hit me. We've been fortunate citizens. We've been fortunate. So, needing money for the future, understand. So the 8 mils of meat doesn't sound bad, 7.5 sounds a little easier. 9, 12 doesn't. And as our property values increase, hopefully they'll keep increasing, and that's more revenues is gonna come in, so. And we've all talked about what the inflation, Bidenomics, whatever you wanna call it, has happened to all of our pocketbooks. You know, I'm on Social Security now, so I'm watching it real close and stuff. You know, wondering what's gonna happen, you know, with increase or stay the same or whatever. Thankfully, we've got a governor that says, for the citizens of Georgia, I'm gonna, you know, hold back the gas tax. I don't drive anymore, like I used to, you know. So, am I saving money? No, well, I'm not driving, but, you know, it's savings for people. So, a little bit of an increase is not gonna hurt people, I don't think. If they, you know, look to the future. I'm here for the rest of my life, I ain't moving. Okay, my house is paid for, you know, got nowhere to go, can't afford to go anywhere else.
The 12.89 that I got the first time is taking the budget and doing the numbers how it's supposed to be done. That's how it's supposed to be done. That's what's needed to balance us. And when we went back and got the 9.2, we shaved back everything that we could. Like, if you don't need it, don't do it. If you don't need it, don't do it. Some stuff like that shouldn't be cut. We're gonna have to just make do. Like, and it's the same thing we're giving too. What I feel like we're giving on our side is to shave the budget down. That means a lot of stuff that we intended on doing this year, we're just not gonna be able to do it. We're gonna have to sit this one out.
The newspaper article makes it sound like dread and dreary and all for the city.
It is
of
for
Reidsville.
some of us. It is for some of us.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. My mother is a widower in the same community. These taxes go up. I help her pay her bills. That comes out my budget too. And then I have to pay 25% of my own healthcare costs. I have lupus. I have to go to the doctor every 2 weeks to be blood tested. Every 2 weeks. That means I have a $35 copay every 2 weeks. That's $70 a month. And I also am struggling with lumps in my left breast, and I have to go every 6 months for that. It's a $96 copay for that. So I already paid just for my health, and I gotta pay more into my health. One of the perks of working here for me was that I had that benefit, and I wanted to be closer in the community to my mother. And some of my check goes to help her. If my mother dies today, that's still our property. I pay property taxes.
And understanding that and mentioning, that it's gonna cost the employees $27.50 a week for their health insurance and all. That's a deal. I worked for Rotary Corporation for 41 years. When my wife was still alive, our weekly, copay was about $50, when she passed and all, and when I retired earlier this year, I was still paying $40-some a week.
I pay for healthcare with my other jobs. I don't have a problem with paying the 25%, but I'm saying that adds on to what you get what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
I
it's
understand
give and take
exactly.
on both sides. I don't want anybody to think that there's not give and take on both sides is what I'm
Hey,
saying.
I understand exactly what you're saying,
Mhm.
but it was gonna be, that healthcare thing was discussed 3 years into my first term about raising it, and I said, how many times did I announce it?
Oh, I don't know, many times.
Many times that it was eventually gonna come, that
Yeah,
we could not continue, because the city, which was paying, every year a big increase, and when I say the city, that's us here.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I can live with 8 million. You want, I wouldn't even be in here in none of these tax meetings if it hadn't been 8 million.
But we need to get it, because, we're gonna have to move quick. So we're gonna have to make a decision.
I just
Well,
here's what my wish is.
You're
My
gonna
wish
go
is
Thursday, aren't you?
here's the thing. My wish is not to hold the county up, the whole county with our stuff. Like I want the path of least resistance to not hold the county up by the first. Like at this point, I talked to GMA this morning to get some guidance on the budget, and she was saying that whatever number consensus that we come up with meals, that we do not have to have all the budget hearings because you adopted the budget already.
That's what Susan was saying, we can go in and revise.
Yes, she says do a budget amendment and a revision and do a resolution or ordinance change with your new figures to reduce your budget. And that's all you need to do, and you can still vote on Thursday. But whatever number you want me to come up with, just let me know, because I have to redo budgets, and it's a huge.
That'd be between the mayor and the council.
That's
Well,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Are we gonna have, what about the legal requirements for the increase? Are we gonna have to repost and redo meetings, even though we're lowering it? So are we actually, I guess my question is, at this point, are we actually gonna be able to accomplish that?
I haven't, of course, this morning, I haven't had a chance to go over to talk to Laura. I would love to go over to talk to Laura and discuss the options with her. And my point was when I get with you all on Thursday, I want to get with the council and just really listen to y'all, because y'all have had a chance, like I have, to hear the public, and I know privately people probably have voiced their opinion. I just really want to hear what y'all got to say, and let's work these numbers. The only thing I'm asking for is let's not go past the first if we can. If we have an option to do whatever we need to do to not go past the first and not hold the rest of the county up, that's the only thing I'm asking y'all to do. I don't even care what number anymore.
Well, the thing is we gotta do it the right way, so is there time to do that? And if there's not, then we're stuck really where we are until next year anyway. So, and I think Ryan and Vivian, here's all mentioned, that the citizens are not opposed to a moderate, slight increase in their taxes. They're just not wanting an overwhelming, because you do have a lot of elderly, you have a lot of people with limited income in our see the numbers where we are as far as poverty line and our population, so. For me, it's not a huge deal because I'm still working. Next year, it'll be a little different, but the thing is I'm fortunate in the job I got, but there are a lot of people out there that won't make the money that I make, and so an increase for them makes them decide, well, do I get my medicine this month? Do I not get, what do I not pay to be able to make my bills? And so, those are the things, you know, that we have. You're hearing the same thing we're hearing, and that's my point of view. I think a moderate increase, and I talked to Susan, and she run the numbers and all, and so, you know, I think that we could do it, a moderate increase, and not impact everybody else as much this year, and then maybe make another baby step next year to get us where we need to go. It's just, like I said, when we threw that 94% increase on people, everybody's looking at, here's my tax bill, and it's almost gonna be double.
Well, you know,
And it's hard.
yeah, they'll tell you, when I walked in and saw that,
Mr. Curtis did oppose to it
I
right
went
away.
up in the sky.
You sure?
And I understand,
I didn't wanna announce it, but I don't wanna look like I had nothing to do. But they'll tell you this off, when I come in that paper, I saw that, I said, oh, no, I wouldn't even sit down, I was stood up in that doing that, I said, no, this will not work.
He did.
and we understand because we see it as well, the projects that have to be done, that need to be completed, things that we've already committed to.
Yes.
And so, I think there's room to compromise.
I feel like that too. I feel like it's compromisable.
You know, sometimes you ask for the moon, but you're only gonna get a star, you know, and so I think that's, if we increase, I think it needs to be a moderate increase. Like I say, that's kind of where I'm at, 7.5 to 8 at the very most, and I just think that it's, you've been here and you've heard. I mean, I've been here, I've listened to what they said, and I can't, the 9.2, I just can't vote for it, because that's not what my constituents are saying.
I feel the same way, I mean, as far as we can legally make it happen, I'd be okay with 7.5%, but if we're stuck right now. We can't, you know, go on and get it done now, I need to.
We need to, I guess, if you wanna talk to Laura and get Duane to go with you or whatever, and see from the legal standpoint, where do we go from here? Can we move forward? Is it too late? If not, you know, can we reduce our numbers back and move forward? So, that's kind of that's my opinion on it. You know, right now, every constituent that I've talked to is, they're not liking the 9.2, and I know nobody wants an increase, period.
That's true, that's
But
all.
we see it just like you. From our standpoint, there's things that have to be done, there's things that have to be paid for, and inflation's hurting everybody. So to lessen the inflation blow to us is a huge increase to the public. Well, it's not lessening it for them, it's adding to that blow. So I think there's room to compromise, and that's what I've heard out of the crowd. But we don't know at this point if we're gonna actually be able to do it from the legal standpoint of doing everything. And I guess that's what we need to work on right now. Can we move forward with an increase, or are we at the point that we're just gonna have to say, we can't do anything this year, and then we're gonna have to buckle down this year and go at it next year early enough that we can get those moderate increases.
Yeah, I feel like I won't be able to let you know until Thursday.
I think one of the things, and you heard a lot of different ideas that came out, it wasn't all just vitriol being thrown out.
No, I wrote a lot of great ideas down.
I mean, there was the idea last night, you know, a gentleman that was sitting over here talking about the Citizens Advisory Board, right?
I wrote that down.
You had, you know, Miss Jackie was talking about the NGOs and stuff. Use the public. you know, cause you can get some people here, like, I know my wife will go, she's doing some stuff with the development authority right now for Dat, is her name, I believe.
Yeah.
She's doing something to help her start a business right now, you know, and she's going and she's talking to people about minority female ownership grants and things like that. And I know you talked about grants a little bit, that they have to have matches and stuff. Not everyone, but, you know, most grants have a match point. But at the same time, it's like, well, if I can do, pay, $100,000 out of the city's budget and get $300,000 out of that we can use for some of that, some of the items that are on your list right now, then, it's worth it to do that. I know you're busy. I know Kelly's busy. Use the public, the council members, create, a citizen, activity board, that we can come, we can help, we can do some research, we can fill out grant paperwork and bring it to you and sign
Well,
it.
that's what we have auxiliary boards for.
Do we have any auxiliary? I haven't heard of a single one. I've
No,
lived here
but
for
that's what I'm
years.
saying, like, that's what we have the DDA, downtown development, that's what they are, they produce.
They're very
ideas up this
limited,
way.
but they're a very limited purview. They're to do business, right? They can only do business in the downtown area, right? So that's why they're trying to do stuff like helping that. And you've got a lot of other needs for the rest of the, the citizens and everything. We talk a lot about Surrency Park, and there was a grant that finally got through for Surrency Park. There were probably 50,000 grants out there that we could have talked, that we could have applied for Surrency, or whoever, or whatever you're doing. If you have, the extra help, and it's unpaid help, right? We won't be coming in here and asking for a salary to do this type of work. We do it in the time that we have. I work from home, my wife works from home. We could take a half hour during our day, an hour during our day, and call up some different associations, some NGOs, as Jackie was talking about. Jackie, how much was the grant that you were able to get?
The last one was nearly $285,000. The one before that was $15,000.
So, she's been able to go out and get grants, and she's not government. She was able to actually go and do this to solve her problem,
But when are they gonna solve your problem?
It's a
I know it's a process.
it's a very slow process. The engineers with Sherwood Designs, they're doing assessments right now, including the one from last year. So yeah, it's a slow process. It may be another year or two before they actually implement. Yeah, so we're gonna, the $285,000 grant was received from the National Fish and Wildlife Fund. Totally free, doesn't have to be paid back, no cost sharing involved whatsoever. So they're out there, it's just there's money being left on the table, but City Hall is not accessing it.
But that's how you make up for not being able to go to 12 mills this year.
Right.
You start looking to get those grants, and like I said, use the public. You have a lot of people that have been in here these last couple of weeks that are, they weren't just here to say, you can't tax me more. It was like, well, what are you trying to do? That was the overwhelming thing you heard here was, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? And we saw some of that yesterday with the budget. Ask for help. You guys, in the past year, you did come together and create an ethics committee, okay, which we haven't had in how many years here?
Yeah.
So, do the same thing and create a citizens advisory board or
But that's what we're
auxiliary.
saying, there are changes being made, but there was a lot of internal changes that need to be made to make us better. It's
Sure.
just because in 2020, everything changed, like most everything went online because when COVID hit, people couldn't go out. So everything changed, so there was a learning process, of course, at first. And now that learning process is over, we're trying to implement, now we're trying to struggle on to implement some of these things. But we gotta get some of these things straight. The stuff
But
that-
you gotta get it started, and it's the old saying, don't let perfect be the enemy of good, right?
Right.
So start going on the steps to get to good. Don't try to reach perfect, this year. Just keep going, and like, Donald was saying, I said earlier, if you come to us with a moderate increase, and then next year a moderate increase, and then the next year a moderate increase, a step ladder version of this, it would have gone over a lot better than what you saw when you guys tried to come
I agree.
full blown,
I agree, but, hindsight is,
Exactly.
But like I said, I knew that wasn't gonna work out, cause You know, I usually try to stay calm. I'm not a person that get too, you know, and when I saw that morning on the newspaper, my blood pressure went up. I said, this is not gonna work. And they'll tell you, I told them, I said, you gotta do something with the budget, because it's not gonna work.
So I guess it's.
So I've been around long enough to know what, you know.
Well, I guess at this point, the first thing that we need to do is determine if we can move forward. Get with Laura, get with Doolin, maybe call GMA and say, here's where we
GMA's in
are.
the area, and, that's what I talked to this morning. She's teaching a class in Savannah. I'm hoping that she can get to me today.
Just make sure where we are and if we have the time to do it. I mean, if we don't have the time to do it, we're stuck with where we are with 1806.
And this morning I come to that too.
And so,
Let me do that, so. If this has a deadline of October the first, we really need to work on this at the end of August, get in on September. So if we run into these clicks, we still got a month to play with a little bit.
We started this early September.
It's gotta be done even earlier than that though, because
Yeah.
especially if you're gonna do these hearings, you know.
Yeah.
You got
It's-
take it out.
Probably after, when you set your budget, you probably need to work on your millage rate. Right.
probably need to work on it simultaneously, so you know what your millage rate is, so you know what your budget needs to do.
We'll get that first one published even, you know, end of July or something, just because
Say
you know.
July first is the new
We
fiscal
don't
year.
get the numbers from Laura to the end of July.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
yesterday afternoon, one of the city trucks rode by us, had a window broke out of it, had a fertilizer bag up on there. That looks bad on the city's part now. They need to get that window fixed.
Okay.
I don't know who was driving the truck,
Mhm.
but I was standing out there and the truck come by and the window's been broke out of it. And I don't know, out there where they're at now, there's always a lot of break-ins and all that stuff. But I knew Rodney's been out with his mother-in-law and all that. Who's ever in charge, that needs to be reported.
I'll look into it.
Okay, I was gonna tell Miss Birdie that this
Yeah,
morning,
I'll look into it.
but, I mean, I'm through saying what I'm gonna say. And I sat here, this is my 6th tax meeting now. Oh, excuse me, 5th, because I wasn't able to make the Thursday night one. But,
That's why I said we need to come to some kind of conclusion, because it just.
well, I mean, you look, these are people that ask questions. Sometimes y'all get a little irritated with us. I apologize for that. But we want to work with y'all also, because the main thing is, you know, you heard last night, we all live here, and we got to try to make it a better place to live. Waldo's daughter that was here last night, I told her, I said, you know what I'd like to see over there next to Cersei Park? Have HUD come in here and build one of them real nice complexes in there. And guess what comes with that complex? With a HUD job. A playground, a nice playground.
There's nonprofits that give money for playgrounds, free grant money for playgrounds. Y'all need bathrooms at that Cersei? They totally free. All you gotta do is ask.
Well, if you go to the other towns around now, and Valley has several, they have their recreation department in 2 places now. But they also have several parks around. In some of them parks, they got some swings and some teeter totters or something like that.
For the
some
kids,
benches.
yeah, right.
But they don't have bathrooms. I mean, they're just small parks in different areas of the town. But, don't get me wrong. I don't think no little girl ought to have to go out there and squat down behind a tree in peace.
No, when they have the events out there, we get the porta potties.
I know, you know,
Yeah.
and I've told all this before, I said, I'm not against the things out there at Surface Park. I just don't think they need to build an expensive, place where they sell hot dogs. Surface Park don't need that, Surface Park needs something for kids to play.
That's what it was designed to do back, you know, I was on the council when it was bought. I don't want to make the deal with the lady to buy the property. She was out of Kentucky. She wanted the services.
Yeah.
And Mayor Charles Ruiz, Reedville didn't have a recreation at all. The golf course took the recreation that Reedville did have at that time.
Yeah.
So he said, you know, there was a lot of kids living in that area back in them days, but they don't know kids over in that area not too much. They come from, you know, all over wherever. But anyway, I made that deal with that lady to buy that property. And the city, she wanted more, we had a little grant. Charles Ruiz got a little grant, Jack Hill helped with that, to purchase it. But we need $3,000 more to buy that land, because she wanted more of what we had. So the mayor said, I'm gonna ask the council to finish, you know, to pay that $3,000, so that's how we bought that property. It was supposed to be for a playground for the kids in that area, because they didn't have nowhere, you know, to play. And that's how that park was bought. It hadn't been that, it was never been bought. Because the city didn't have a recreation at the time. Like I said, the golf course come into it.
Yeah, because that was a recreation.
Yeah, that's where the recreation park was at, the golf course. So we didn't have one. And that's why that property was bought over there in the first place. Just for them kids over there to have somewhere to play.
I don't think it's an
And what made it be a recreation, I mean a pool, it was just a park for young kids to play. But then what happened now, you don't have no young kids, so what you got over there, a bunch of teenagers, grown folks, what they gonna call it, that's who over there. Unless they have a special event, they have, you know, small kids. But other than that, you go by and see how many small kids you see out there. That's why that playground stuff said they're rusty. Wasn't nobody using it but the old people. They would come out of town, a lot of them, playing basketball over there. That basketball court draws people now. So they like to play basketball. But I'm gonna let people, I don't see put the whole, we tried that too, and I'm gonna admit, I said, they tear it up again, don't put nothing back. We tried 3 different times to put bathrooms over there. Had a septic tank put down, everything. And the commodes were brand new put in the, and they tore all that up. They bust the commode just like it was, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but they also do that at the rec department.
No, they ain't going in there.
No, they ain't busting them.
3 weeks ago, they
They
did.
locked, look here.
They told us like 6 weeks ago that something happened to the bathrooms over there at the rec.
Well, let me tell you something.
But I'm gonna tell you, I was against it, because I said, no, keep putting money in something, when you gonna tear it up?
Well, you know, I think it was Ty said last time about the, rec department being, the only time that rec department, I live over there. Them lights go off about 9 o'clock at night. Now, anybody that's over there after 9 o'clock at night are subject to be arrested, because there's signs there saying no alcohol, beverages.
Yeah.
This place closes at such time.
Well, the night games do go on, cause I worked at 911,
Well,
and I've been there, and I worked at night, and I've been there several nights, and those games do go on all.
That's tournaments.
That tournament.
That's tournaments.
They do that.
Yeah, but to 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
They have tournament, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, I'm not
Yeah,
saying that there's
tournament.
anything wrong, what I'm saying is those games do go on.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have a tournament,
Tournaments
yeah.
do,
Yeah, they
but
do.
just like this regular rig, I'm out there, they shut the lights off on me walking through my car at 8:30 night time.
Those are adult tournaments too, those aren't.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
The
Yeah,
men's
yeah.
tournaments and the co-ed tournaments,
Yeah.
I played it until 4 a.m.
Yeah, they play all night,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nobody's against that, I mean, that's what the rec department's supposed to do, it's supposed to be for the community to play, to recreate.
well, actually, I think they pay something the rec board handles that.
Yeah,
They got the board out
And
there.
I've talked to him, I've told him that we need to start having more stuff like that out there, that's creating money for the rec department, I mean.
Yeah, 'cause they pay good money for the tournament.
Yeah.
The little kids tournaments, the travel ball tournaments and stuff like that, so I mean, I've been out there talking to them about some stuff too. But normally the bathrooms are locked out there, I have to go get a key half the time.
Well, it's 10 o'clock. I ain't gonna say no more.
Okay.
I'll leave it with that. I can live with 8 people. I don't know about how everybody else feels about that, but that's me.
Some more than fair.
I'm gonna go too, I got a lot of work to do, everybody.
All right, well,
Everybody